James Harden is the most overrated, great future Hall of Famer in the history of the game. 0 donut hole championships with all the numbers that he has. He's not a leader on the floor. It almost sometimes acts like he couldn't give a shit when he's out there for all the talent he's got. And Joel Embiid, for crying out loud, hey, everybody, go ahead. He's one of these guys who's out there all the time telling the fans, cheer for me, cheer for me. He's another just overrated, nonsensical piece of crap that the 76ers don't need. They got to clean house, get these guys out of there. Because with those two guys, you'll never win a championship with Embiid. Never.
You're not going to win. Harden, I agree with it. Embiid's not going anywhere. He's the MVP of the league.
He's MVP of the league, but what does he do in postseason?
The ESPN said MVP every single possession the other night. Every single possession they had to let everybody's MVP. And they don't talk. They did not talk. They wanted to rip Missoula in the beginning of the series or games 1 and 4. I agree. But in the end, he outcoached Doc Rivers. He put Robert Williams at third in and Al Horford. And it wasn't just because Embiid, should they have gotten the ball more? Probably. But they stymied him.
Oh, come on.
They stymied. They were all over him. And I'm sorry. Now, you could say, I'm sure Doc Rivers was in the huddle and said, try to get him. You got to get him the ball. It's not like they didn't try to get him. Or they just didn't get it to him. Mark Jackson, at the beginning of the game, said the first bucket that he scored, and it was on Al Horford. It was sort of a one-on-one thing. He goes, he can do that all night. He can do that all night. No, he can't do that all night. He wasn't going to be able to do it all night. If he was, he'd score 100 points every single game. But there was no talk about the adjustments. It was just every time Embiid touched the ball, here's the MVP, here's the MVP, here's the MVP. Now you can go see the MVP on the golf course.
But you and I both know, and I'll bet you, John, I'll say this to all three of us here. We know that there are great players in every sport that put the game on their back at the time that they're needed. James Harden doesn't do it. He's a piece of shit when it comes to actually being the guy to lead on the floor with all his numbers. Embiid's another one. As good as he is, MVP of the league, you put the game on your back at that moment. You get out there and you lead. And he didn't do it, and neither did Harden.